sin again. Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. The things I don't understand. Sometimes I need to be alone. Alright. I don't know how long I'm gonna do this or keep this up. A part of me is happy that I put this here. Another part of me is questioning if it's the right thing. Just because it's just contradictory to the things that I've learned from a quote unquote spiritual aspect kind of thing. You know? Yeah, so it's what in the world? Oh, a scab on my arm. I didn't even realize that. Ow. I just want to make this quick video while I eat and just I'm something of like my mind has always worked in like a reverse engineer kind of way. So a lot of times I've looked at situations or people or objects, projects, whatever it is, kind of in a backwards way of this is like this because of this, right? Um, it's probably a better way to explain that, but that's just how my mind has always worked. I guess that's how uh, I've adapted to processing the world. Um, oh, where was I going with this? Um, I had a complete point for this. Reverse engineering. That's how my mind works. I don't know if I was making a new point or I was relating it to the fact I'm saying like um oh nah this is oh I see. All right, let me just scratch that real quick. Going back to what was I saying originally? It's early. I literally just woke up and made breakfast, and I'm a little. I was saying reverse engineering, and I was speaking on quote unquote spiritually reverse engineering. I had a really good point for saying this, and it kind of just jumped. I was saying how like I reverse engineered things. Oh, that's the point I was making, right? So on one hand, you learn a lot in the quote unquote spiritual community that you have to like some people refer to it as like upcycling your life, like only talk about positivity and only do this and only do that. And um it's it does work. It most definitely works. I've experienced that many times. Um Dang, there's too many. Oh, I was gonna compare it to what I'm doing now, right? That's what I was gonna say. There's this split, and I have to just, I guess, heal this. I don't know, man. I'm trying. It is what it is. It comes off so often. They're saying like you have to upcycle your life, so you can't like don't go venting and don't go like complaining and this that and the other. Which a part of me is like, how do you it almost feels like they're saying ignore the problem, which for someone whose mind works backwards in the sense of I'm gonna reverse engineer. That's you're literally that's the first thing you're looking at to keep the machine going, right? The machine's fine, just this one little part here, so you're looking at that to fix it, right? I just saw another double thing of I don't know, maybe expand your mind so you're not only reverse engineering. I don't feel like I'm only reverse engineering. It's just something I feel a lot of times I'm adept at. I was I know I'm really like dragging it, but I don't care. I just woke up. I look at it as what I'm doing right now is almost like a reverse engineering of the life that comes with having that condition, right? Things that just pointing out all these different things, right? So if you grew up and you really didn't know nothing about the condition, just really going down a list of things that you need to pay attention to, of whether you need water, you need organic, natural food that is in its like most premium state, the freshest state possible. Um, you don't be in the cold. Make sure if you taking a shower, a bath, whatever, make sure your house is warm. Make sure you have your window open so you're getting air, right? Like just going through all that. But I had to learn that in a reverse engineering way of looking at what was bothering me and constantly tinkering with different things to figure out what works. So that to me is what it looks like. Sometimes I don't feel like I'm necessarily complaining. I'm just putting like a list of things of like that I may or may not have answers for that needs to be paid attention to, right? So, for example, I remember reading in the comment, in one of the comments on Reddit, somebody was like, yeah, like we were told we were supposed to grow out of this. And that's something that I totally forgot about, right? Because there's so much stuff with this. I totally forgot about that. We definitely were told we were gonna grow out of this and that we would live normal lives, and that was wrong. It was either wrong or a lie. In my opinion, it was both. So it that like I think sometimes like it's not worded enough just how much this is doing like to our lives, right? I think everyone's just trying to push through their pain to live and da 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 da. But I don't think it's being like put in the proper perspective. Like someone who has an expansive enough perspective of this needs to sit down and truly put it into perspective for someone. Like I don't think y'all understand what's really like happening, right? Like it's like it just it just is a lot. But that was the thing I kind of wanted to go into. Like we were told as children, like we would grow out of this, we would have normal lives and this, that, and the other. Oh, you just got to take care of yourself. I'm like, yo, this is nonsense. Like this is nonsense. And I'm like in the middle. I remember in the middle of my doctor saying one of these things because I got older and I went back without my parents and I was questioning them. And he was saying like, and I saw this in a lot of like adults and doctors at the time and when I was younger. Whereas like when you start questioning the things they saying because you're clearly like this is clearly not true. Like there's no way that this is true. And they have that little panic face. Like they're whatever defense they just had just completely been broken through. And it's like that's a weird response, right? That's almost like a weird response of like, I know what I'm saying to you is nonsense. Or I've never got anyone that pushed back and said what I was saying was like weird. But it's in a way where it's like, you know, something that you're saying is shenanigans, right? Something in what you're saying is shenanigans, has to be. Because even if someone pushed back, you might have a surprise face of like, oh, like that's interesting. Like you're a doctor, you might agree, or you might be able to, explaining what they're saying is wrong, but you don't have that little guilty surprise face of like I just got caught. Like it's weird. I've experienced that many times. So my doctor's saying, "Oh yeah, you should be able to live normally," and I'm saying to him like I'm not. Like what? And he was like, I remember I don't know who brought it up, but we got on the topic of like people that have that condition need to live somewhere that's warm, and I remember like saying, but I'm like, this is this is New Jersey. New Jersey's not warm. New Jersey's warm for like maybe 3 months. Maybe. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of just like it just I could sit there and it's almost like you're going deeper and deeper into it, but it requires that. Right? Like I think that's the point that kind of has me pulled left and right because you learn in a lot of like quote unquote spirituality, upcycling your life, taking control of your reality, is that you focus on just positivity. You don't dive too deeply into these things. But that condition almost requires you to dive that deeply to be able to properly nurture it and take care of it yourself and to be able to function. Because if not, what happens is, right? Because if you're only looking at the positive, which is what my parents did a lot of the times as a kid, you end up ignoring a lot of different problems. So I think this is almost on like some like, what is that called? Glitch, right? It's almost like a glitch for us. Like the rules don't apply the same way, which makes sense because of what we're experiencing. Why would the rules apply the same way? But that's almost what it's like. So it makes me like think either I need to be like double the positive and go hard with that, or like I have to actually operate like I'm a glitch and just know that even though these rules are for other people, that they don't necessarily apply to me and therefore I can break the game kind of thing. It's funny because I hear a lot of this from like when I was listening to someone, this is how they spoke. But they didn't have the condition, but it still applies. They just break the game. Just break the rules in a way that resonates. I'm sitting here talking, I didn't even eat yet. So yeah, I might as well turn this off. I almost forgot. That Molly got me nauseous. Right? Okay, that's what I was gonna go into. Right? And it's it's weird because outsiders will just look at it as complaining. But in reality, you don't go to the doctor and the doctor not tell you what's wrong. Right? Like you're there for a reason to learn what's going on so that you can fix it. It's you have to acknowledge these things, right? It's changing the perspective. We just have a lot of things to acknowledge. That's the way I look at it. That's the more the higher perspective. No, be honest with yourself. There's a lot to acknowledge here, and most people just don't have the capacity for it, right? I wasn't prepared for, you know, I remember them telling my parents that yeah, like he's gonna grow later than the other kids, and my parents said that's something they noticed, right? Because me as a kid, I didn't really notice it that much. I knew I was small and I was shorter than the other kids, but it wasn't to the point where I was paying so deeply like all right, this person's this tall, they grew this much, I grew like I wasn't that deep into it. I was just like, damn, all these niggas is taller than me. Like that's how I looked at it, right? I was all these people is taller than me. It's like, side note, should I even say that? I totally forgot it's Ramadan, and I try to participate in Ramadan, which is a little. It isn't and is wild. I can't go into all of it, but you know, and I kind of totally forgot. I did like 2 weeks of it because I reached the 2 weeks point. I only reached 2 weeks because I couldn't wake up on time for to break my fast. Like I could not do it every time. Like I would wake up and I would be so like nah. Like I knew I needed more rest, right? I just knew it every time. So it just I couldn't do it. So I was only eating dinner and I was like, all right, 2 weeks of just dinner, I'm not gonna make it this way. That's wild. So I forgot you're not supposed to be cursing this and the other. But I also am like, if I stop participating in Ramadan, does that still apply? Right? Like I'm at a place where like I'm trying my best not to be like disrespectful, but I'm just tired of constantly feeling like I have all this pressure of me. I have this pressure to be perfect and not curse and not engage in any sexual activity or do that and the other. And I gotta almost energetically try to be perfect with being positive and this that, and the other while I'm taking care of myself and only I'm the only person who's truly aware of what I'm experiencing. Like it's so much that sometimes I'm on some glitch. I'm on some like nah, bro. I don't care. I'm gonna curse today. I'm gonna ask for forgiveness and apologies. I'm gonna be conscious of what I'm doing. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not aware. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing I had to grow. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not aware, but I'm like, if I'm not getting thrown something that's gonna like help me or, something that this is what I'm doing, and I'm apologize. I'm gonna keep it a beam. right? But I wasn't really prepared for, okay, you're gonna grow later in life than the other kids. They also didn't prepare for the type of mental and emotional, catching up you still also have to do. Like, these things were not prepared. So when I say I'm in my mid 20s feeling like I'm younger than a lot of people, it's such a like it's funny because it's like you're almost wise because this type of experience of having this pain, it almost gives you a certain level of wisdom because we see the world differently. There's other kids in school playing around, we in the hospital, and it's almost like I got to kind of just watch people's behaviors and actions and the things they say and do, and almost, I don't want to say judge it, but like just be aware of it very, very much. So it almost gives you like a wisdom because you kind of got to start operating a certain way to keep yourself from getting hurt at a very young age. It almost requires you to grow up fast and not be able to grow up at the same time. It's hilarious. It's very wild, but there's no preparation for this. You know what I'm saying? There was really no prepar. I was not prepared for this, right? Another aspect I looked at is I was the youngest. I think I said this already, actually. I was the youngest. So everyone that was older than me, do you think that I was carving my own path? And this is probably not the case for everyone. Some people that was the youngest probably just sat there and carved out their own path. But I didn't do that. I can't say I didn't do that. I just got yelled at all the time for what I was doing. Like, I just played video games a lot, and I got yelled at it for it. And now these niggas on the internet making millions playing video games. Like, it's just funny. But that's why I mean, like, be a glitch, carve your own path, do whatever you want. But um, right. So I was always following the trail of my older sibling. I was always following the trail of my older cousins, following the trail of my friend who was older. Like that, I realized is what I was doing. It's not necessarily I was making my own decisions, being myself, especially with this affecting my reality to the degree where I didn't really understand it. Oh, he's just picky. He's picky. Oh, why is his scalp so dry and all this and the other. Now I'm looking back, nigga. The scalp was dry because I was beyond dehydrated. Like that becomes obvious to me because I started studying certain things and how we're affected. It's the same thing as your lips. He's beyond dehydrated. That's why his scalp is mad dry. It's very very simple. It just takes looking at. Like you have to pay attention to it, right? You know why I was picky as a kid? Because I was overwhelmed by my environment. When I get overwhelmed, my appetite goes away. Overwhelmed could mean you're overwhelmed physically, you're overwhelmed emotionally, mentally, and all this at the same time. Someone like me, it could be quote unquote needing to be more in alignment. Like, it's a lot of different things. But what was happening was throwing my nervous system into like survival mode and like but being in that all the time because the environment was that ridiculous. So again, I only bring this up because I think it's something really, really important that needs to be touched on. Yeah, it requires a lot of deep diving into things that are not comfortable. But I think it's important for people that are younger than us or people that don't have no awareness or even someone that's doing better can come along and say, all right, fix this, that, and the other, right? Because I learned that I spent so much time trying to be perfect and fix myself to make myself presentable for people, the internet, or this, that, and the other. When in reality, I really needed to just throw my ass out there. And if I'm fucking wrong, I'm wrong, and somebody might come along and correct me. But I think it's important for younger people to realize, like, younger people, whoever, me, what, like I just said, it could go in any direction, is like, nigga, we was not prepared for this. And there might be better and more information out. We were not prepared for this. Not. I don't want to make it sound like it's complaining, but it's the truth. Wasn't It's weird because people will tell you, "Oh, you're just complaining, you're complaining," and it's like, what happens when I'm in pain, dog? Like, I remember my sibling had to pick me up from the hospital. She was like, yo, bro, you need to be getting some money for this because this is ridiculous. And it's like, they're so like, and it was in a way of like, almost like you need to apply and da 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 da. Mind you, I already applied. Like they're so ignorant, is in like they don't know any better because they're not sitting down with me trying to understand what I'm experiencing or have been with or what this condition actually means or what I've attempted to do with my condition. Is that they say things that are like wildly ignorant, right? Like I studied trying to get money for this. The what's the word? The requirements are insane, right? You need like single digit hemoglobin, right? Like it's like your hemoglobin has to be around like 7 or something crazy, right? If your hemoglobin is constantly at 7, nigga, you're always in the hospital. Meaning, I would think you would be in the hospital every month, almost every other week, if not every week. If your hemoglobin that low is for niggas that have the full blown. That's tier 3. My hemoglobin has only been that low once, and it's when I can I even say that? Let's just say I did something that led to me losing a lot of weight, and my hemoglobin dropped down to that. And here's also the funny thing is you have to be very aware of your own like condition. So go to the hospital every like month. Just do that for like a year or something, right? Go to the hospital every month and track your hemoglobin because the doctors will fucking tell you anything. I went, right, my hemoglobin when I was young used to always be around, I think 11. It was around like 11. And I used to like for a male, normal hemoglobin of a normal nigga is like 15, right? So 11 is already telling you having problems, right? But when I did this, like this thing that made my hemoglobin dropped to very very low. It was like 7. That was like the worst I ever experienced, like attacks and this and the other, right? But when this happened, the doctors were sitting there trying to convince me like, oh, you have like the full blown and this, that, and the other. And it's ironic, right? Because here's where like the double thing comes along. Is that on one hand, they're not thoroughly looking at me, right? They're not seeing me. Like that's what I'm seeing in people. They can't see you, right? They can't see you because they're not willing to sit down and go to this depth with you, right? Because most people don't. It makes them feel like they're drowning. Nigga, that's why I keep saying we're super niggas. Like, we've been basically drowning every day, and we just basically because we've been drowning every day, we become like the niggas in Atlantis. We just breathing underwater at this point, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? On some like, you ever seen these things where the creator or God or whatever makes the strongest nigga go through like the worst shit, and then on the other end, out the end of the tunnel, the nigga come out super powered up and fly, nigga. You see the cape, nigga, right? But I wouldn't wear no cape because on some incredible shit, that shit just seemed like it's in the way, you know. But yeah, the doctors was like, you got the full blown, right? The doctors was like, yeah, you have the full blown, and I'm like, like, mind you, off rip, I'm in denial. I'm like, fuck out of here. I don't got no full blown. You bugging, right? Because I think most people that had this condition growing up, at some point, at some level, you was very much in denial about your condition. That might be ignorant of me to say because it's an assumption, but it is what it is. I was like, full blown. You bugging? Get the fuck out of here. I'm like, yo, in my laptop, am I even recording? I am. Yo, you bugging? Get the fuck out of here. I started spazzing in that room. My mom was like, I ain't never heard you talk like that. I was like, hey. Right? So I'm like, have y'all looked at my like past? Have y'all looked at my records? My hemoglobin's never at 7. I'm like, y'all not even listening to nothing I said. Like I did something that made my hemoglobin drop to 7. which also made me think if I can do something to make my hemoglobin drop, I can do something to bring it up. Figuring it out is another thing, but whatever, right? I believe the earth has the answers, but that's a long story, and that's for the time that's coming, right? So they're like, oh, but it's 7. What type of fucking response is that, nigga? If you go all throughout my history, it shows I've always been at 11, sometimes 12. Why the fuck are you using that as like a thing, right? Because what they're trying to do, in my opinion, is trying to get me hooked on medicine. Oh, you need to take these pills. You need to do this, that, and the other. Yo, that unnatural medicine, that shit does not work for me unless it's like I'm in a crisis and I need you to fuck these nerves up so that I can stop feeling this pain, right? I'm sitting here. That's not even a valid argument. It's at 7. I'm telling you, I just did something that really messed with my health, right? It's like if I decided I'm not gonna drink water for 2 weeks. That's gonna do something to your health, right? I did something along the lines of I did something for a certain amount of time that really made my health. I lost like how much weight did I was very skinny, as we know. I was between like 135, 140. Nigga, my weight was at 115. Nigga, I lost 20 pounds. Weight was at 115, nigga. So I'm telling them like I did this. You can wait. I don't know if I was still 115 at that. I don't remember. I had to be if they were taking the test and saying that. No, you know why? Because this might have been after I came out of it, right? Because that happened during a period where I kept having to go to the hospital, and then I came back and visited when I was better, and they were saying like, "Oh, your shit was at 7. Like you need to." Nigga, I'm telling you, look at my past records. I had to sit there and basically yell at them like, it's 11, 12, bro. You keep saying because it was at 7. Go throughout my past and look, has it ever been at 7? No, I'm telling you, I lost 20 pounds doing this other shit. They were not trying to hear me. They just kept saying it was at 7, right? What does that tell me? They not consciously thinking, or they got some type of hidden agenda. Now, here's the funny shit. The funny shit is, on the other hand, I would never say I had the full blown, but I did have the thing where you have those two traits come together, it creates a dominant gene, or however she explained that. So in a sense, I did have something that was more than I realized. But they weren't saying that. They weren't alluding to that. They weren't going in. They were just trying to say, you have full blown, your shit was at 7, which would have been wrong because it never in my life was it ever around 7. Ever. So, like, this is what I mean by the type of confusion. There's no conscious thought behind what's going on. Because I feel like if I tell you that, you should immediately be able to be like, oh, okay, you don't. You just did some wild shit and your shit dropped. And now it's going back up. Right? But it's like I had to do all that with my doctors because they're trying to play the I am the doctor. Bitch, fuck you. I don't care if you a doctor, nigga. What the fuck that got to do with me? Nigga, what the fuck that got to do with what I'm saying? If you a doctor, you should be picking it up like this. Nigga, you went to medical school, the fuck? Did you not have to be smart through that, or did you cheat? Like, what the hell? Okay, I know I just seen an animal move. Squirrely squirrel across the street, right? But it was like these are the things we had to go through. I know it's other niggas that's sitting there with their doctors and they like, yo, these niggas is dumb as fuck or something. So it's like they book smart, but they're not consciously thinking. You're not consciously thinking. There's just no way. So my thing was, there's a lot of things we really weren't prepared for in the slightest, right? Like, and I want to throw this into the world because I don't see myself, I don't want to say I don't see myself as someone, but someone that has maybe the funds or the pull to pull through with this bars. And right, like we should have what's it called? Like, for example, and I don't know if other people experience this. I look back at this now, and if I had been more prepared, or if I had been the adult in the situation, I would look at things. All right, so when I miss school, ways to make up for this, right? Like, I don't want to say a tutor because that actually is very, very simple. But that's actually really, really simple. I never experienced that. Just get a tutor and have them catch up with wherever he's at. I think it was stupid for them to expect me to do this by myself after being in all that pain. I had no motivation to do fucking anything. I didn't care. I just missed a month of school. I don't give a fuck anymore. I do not care. And I didn't even have all my weight back. My parents was, oh, you gotta go back. You gotta go back. Get me a fucking tutor, nigga. The fuck type of stupid shit is this? Niggas said, like, I look back at that now, like, there's so many things when you look back. I'm like, yo, this was wrong as fuck. Why did y'all have me? Y'all niggas was giving me homework while I was at home, right? Talking about if you could play video games, you could do homework. Bitch, video games is it's no stress in that. It literally gets you to laugh and enjoy yourself. All the stress goes away. That's why when you're doing homework, 3 hours feels like 15. When you're playing video games, 15 hours feels like 3. It's different, right? So what were they missing? Oh, mental, emotional, physical stress. He needed an outlet. Not let's go put some more fucking work on him, or not have someone to alleviate that. So you got two people instead of one. Like, there was no thought behind none of this shit, and it was just left up to me. And I realize how fucked up it is now while I'm way older. That's why I think it's important to talk about this shit. Because I will say, like, even though I didn't fuck with school, I hated it, and they teaching us a bunch of unuseful bullshit and lies about history or whatever. I think any kid in today's era should master school and get whatever the fuck you want. Like, I learned that from someone. Get all A's, and you can do whatever the fuck you want in life. Literally. Right? Do whatever, get all A's, nigga, and you will get all A's, be the cool kid, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you'll be able to do anything that you fucking want. So, yeah, man, I just feel like it was a lot of problems that wasn't handled well. Bro, I've I've been in the car for like 8 hours during an attack. Nigga, like, niggas don't know what I used to go through, bro. And it's because they weren't prepared for the situation. Yeah, and again, who could have prepared them? You know what I'm saying? It was very much learned by fire. That's how they had to learn it, and so that's what they went through. You know, my parents are much older than a lot of people's parents, so it was like, then it was really a thing, and they both was middle class working people. So it was like, yeah, it was great they had the money to afford the house and this, that, and the other. But it was also like, I needed one of you motherfuckers to stay with me while I was in this pain, not me be at home by myself for hours waiting for someone to help me. Taking Tylenol every few hours, and sometimes the shit don't work because the pain's too much. Like, now I went through a lot. So I think a big part of this is just like, just putting this here so that someone could be like, okay, I heard that he went through that. I might go through this. I might be able to think of something that could alleviate this situation or this, that, and the other. Just anything, you know? You never know what this shit might spark. How I look at it. That's why I'm still on the fence of keeping it up or putting it down. I don't know. Mm. So, yeah, I think that's it for now, maybe. No. It was so funny because the only way I stopped going to the hospital was when I stopped, like, living normally. I stopped trying to play basketball. I stopped really going out, right? Right? Like, okay, that's what I was gonna talk about. When you're, for me, because of where I was mentally and emotionally, and because I really wasn't nurtured properly when it comes to that could specifically that condition, it made it difficult for me to make friends. Very, because I didn't know how to be social at all. I was a kid that I spent a lot of years just not talking to people. You know, these are like signs of like autism and shit. These are like you ever seen those just non-verbal ass kids? I was basically kind of like that, but it wasn't to that degree. It was kind of to like my father being so scary kind of almost made me force a little awkward thing to come out my mouth just to get people to leave me the fuck alone. So and a lot of black people do that. They try and force you out of the little retarded thing. And it might have worked had I not had a condition, right? So yeah, it was really difficult for me to like make friends because I could clearly see like I was behind them in, I won't say maturity, but like normal experience of being around people. Like that to me is like a maturity thing where it doesn't, your body doesn't feel like it's in a constant emergency. So you have a lot of just normal ass experiences, being around people, talking to people. There's nothing about that that's making you go into overload, right? I didn't have that. So that's almost very similar to having to go to the hospital. And now, how are you maturing mentally, emotionally while you're missing time from school? You're missing time around your friends. You're missing time in normal life. So your maturity and your, in these areas is being pushed back and delayed. So when I was around people, I often was like, you could clearly see like I was like an outlier in a sense, and I'm not necessarily saying in a good way. So it's yeah, yeah. No, this oatmeal is hitting though. So yeah, I think one thing I wish, even with everything I experienced, was that I was more open about like having a condition. I used to hide my shit. I wouldn't tell anybody, literally, for years. And I think that made things more difficult looking back on it. But I think mainly is because it wasn't solidified. Like, you have a condition, you need this, right? It just was too many things that were out of place that made it like I don't even want to tell you I have a condition because now you're gonna ask me a bunch of questions I don't have the answers for, right? That's what I mean. Like I wasn't properly prepared for shit. It was too much shit that was out of the way. What I mean by that is also is I grew up in a cold ass state. I grew up in a very old house. My house has no fucking HVAC. Means there was no real oxygen. You can't open the window in the winter or anytime it was really cold, right? When I would go to take a, and I had a black father, so it was like that nigga with the heating thing, you ain't supposed to touch it. That was the ignorance. So when I would shower and things, I would be like, I'm cold, and it wasn't relaying to them. Like I used to be afraid of the water because for example, you ever seen how old people be like, oh, I know it's about to rain. I could feel it in my bones. That's how I was as a kid. I could feel the water, and it was like I was like, I don't want to. I could feel the cold, and I could feel the water, and it was like making me feel the the stiffness of my bones and joints. And I was like, I don't want to get in there. And they just, oh, you being scary. Like they weren't understanding there was an actual problem going on. Now I'm being overloaded in my environment because every time around my parents is school, school, school. I'm in all this pain. I'm having attacks. We're struggling to make friends. Like all these different things were like insane. I was so picky. I didn't have appetite because I couldn't feel it. I said this like I didn't feel appetite truly unless I hadn't eaten for mad long or until I started smoking weed. When I started smoking weed, I finally felt like, oh, this is what an appetite is supposed to feel like. So it was a lot, bro. It was so much, it was insane. But part of me, like, I did take the complaining thing to heart, and I tried to, like, muscle my way through things. And to a degree, it worked, but I always would reach a point where I would get burnt out and I wouldn't know what to do. And then I would just, yeah, I'll leave it at that. How much time is on this? Why my laptop keep locking? 40 minutes. 40 minutes, not bad. Yeah. Not having nobody to go to is wild. Can't go to your elders because they don't even be trying to listen. Bro, I had one person who used to, this is why I'd be like, what type of path did the creator create for me? Because I had one person who used to actually like listen to me, sit with me. She would watch me play video games. I had one person, dog. And the creator took them from me as a child. I'm like, what type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, why? Why would you even do that? Not only that, she died around my birthday. I'm like, dog, why is this, what is going on, man? Right? I felt like I didn't get that. I always needed someone to just sit down with me, listen, spend time with me. No, nigga. And what I mean is, it wasn't like, now adults come around and I don't know if they realize, but they make the shit about them, right? For example, there have been times I'll try and get along with my dad, but we don't get along unless it's about him. If he want to, we could spend time together if it's watching basketball that he wants to watch. No, right? So I remember one time we had a movie night, and everyone had to pick out a movie. Well, not everyone. It's just me and my dad picking out movies, and my mom, she didn't really want to pick anything out. And I picked out a movie and then another movie. So I watched the first one that I wanted to watch, right? We were all watching it. My dad in the middle of the movie just left and went and started talking to his friend on the phone. And then the movie he came on that he wanted to watch, well, I put it on. I wasn't petty, but I was like, I'm not even gonna say nothing. I just put the movie on, and he didn't realize it was on to the end. But that's the movie he wanted to come back for, and it just was like, I've experienced that a lot. Like, if this isn't absolutely about you, where you feel in absolute control, you don't want to be a part of it. All right, I'm just not gonna spend time with you. Like, why would I do that? Not fair to me. So that was the difference with my grandmother. She made it about me, right? She sat there and watched me play video games. She would ask questions. She was always with me. And I'm not necessarily saying it has to be about me all the time. It's give and take. Sometimes it's going to be you. Sometimes it's going to be me. Sometimes it's going to be about both of us. Right? That's the whole thing, is it about it being about both of us. But it just was a lot of that. And then that just never happened. Like, creator snatched her up, and then I just never got it. Like, you know? Oh, yeah, that oatmeal was good. So, yeah. Yeah. A lot of different learning and experiences and this, that, and the other. Trying to truly understand what is it that the creator wants from me. Like, what do you want from me, dog? And I be thinking I don't know, and then the creator will switch it up, and I'm like, all right, bro, I'm over it. I'm over it. So yeah. Um. Again, I love my parents. I love my family. A lot of them niggas ain't no better. They wasn't prepared the same way I wasn't prepared. The doctors really couldn't be trusted because they was fucking telling you. And the doctors was telling my parents I wasn't gonna make it to like 20 or some shit. So like them niggas really couldn't be trusted. That's why a lot of times like I don't necessarily blame my parents. I wish things were different and better and that niggas would listen to me and this and the other. I still feel that way. But it's not on some like I need to punish my parents and do this then no. No. Sometimes they feel that way because I'm someone who isolates a lot. I like my own space because it's like being in the forest and no one around, and it's a beautiful, magical adventure. And when being around other people, it's like being in the middle of the city and there's a bunch of noise and bullshit, and it overloads my system too quickly, and I don't like it. It's not about punishment, it's about me loving myself, and this is what I need. And this is the degree, the depth that I have to go to experience that. It is what it is. Why don't one of you motherfuckers come spend a week with me and you sit here and study me and see what is it that I'm actually going through and experiencing and actually sit down, learn, understand. But no one wants to do that. They just want to cry about how you don't call or you don't say this. You call them motherfuckers and they spend 15 minutes saying, oh, the weather here, like it's raining. I'm not gonna sit on the phone with you for mad long about nothing. You're wasting time. No, that shit is out. Fuck out of here. So, yeah. So, I know my sibling asked me this. Was like, do you hold like here's a funny thing I also want to say. Was like, do you hold like I don't know what that's called. I guess anger or whatever at your parents. I'm like, it's kind of like a yes and no thing, right? So mentally, it's no in the sense of I get what's up, right? You gotta think when you dive down the fact that the internet just became a thing like 20 years ago, and your parents are like triple the age of 20, right? So it's like these are things you have to consider. A lot of it was not their fault. They work in slave jobs. They don't own. They working for somebody else. They coming home tired because they worked 8.5 hours and they were older than a lot of people. So it's like I could see why there were a lot of things here that weren't together. They kept things together in the sense of they went and got us in the suburbs. They got a nice house, right? It just happened to be old, and it was stuff that like if I was a normal child, right? If I didn't have a condition, it's like yo, you did amazing. And I still tell my parents that I'm like yo, y'all did amazing. I don't blame y'all, dog. Like the creator gave you something that you had no possible ways of finding answers for. You still did amazing no matter what. But I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I don't have this, that, and the other going on, that I haven't needed help. That doesn't make any sense. But sometimes I don't know if they have the capacity. Like they just need to hear, oh, I did amazing and everything's fine. I'm like, no, bro, I can't do that. Cause you the person I have to go to for help. I can't just be, oh, everything's fine. It doesn't fucking work. But what was I gonna go to? Oh, right. So the other side of it is um you gotta think, right? When I was a kid and I was going through this extreme pain for mad long, basically begging, I'm like, God, please, please stop this. Please make this stop. And it ain't never stopped, nigga. I was mad at God. Like, I was mad at God. I was mad at my parents. I was mad at everybody. Right? Those thoughts flooded into my mind because I'm like, I'm in so much pain and nobody can help me. And almost like you question love, you question God, you question everything. Like, like I don't see why I wouldn't, right? But because I grew up like being Christian, it was almost like I'm not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to question God. You're not supposed to not love them. I could feel if I didn't turn those thoughts on right then, I would have walked through life hating them niggas. I would have hated everybody, God, my parents, would have hated. So I turned it. I suppressed it. I repressed a lot of that anger because I would have been living that way. The problem with this is that shit gets stored in the body. So technically it's still sitting there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, damn, like the equation just goes deeper and deeper. It's ridiculous. But yeah, it's like, no, I truly love um I love my parents. And the thing is, I've always been a very mental person, and I found what this is, and I'll use Zodiac, even though I've walked away from Zodiac. I don't claim none of this shit no more. Um, Maybe I won't do Zodiac. Basically, what I'm trying to say is someone that mentally loves you is like, some people say, oh, they're thinking about you, or they're just that and that other. What I found myself doing was like thinking about what emotion I should display for you, right? And it's very much people pleasing now that I think about it. But like, what emotion should I display for you, to the point where I realized, oh my God, I wasn't feeling in like genuinely, oh, this is the emotion I'm feeling. You just said some bullshit, now I'm mad. Right? But I'm like, I don't even want to be mad, dog. I'm already tired from having to go through all this bullshit. I don't even want to be mad. So I would just laugh shit off. The problem with this is those real emotions that you felt are just getting stored and repressed and suppressed and stuck somewhere in your body, and all that shit adds up and catches up to you. It's ridiculous. And I used to say to my sibling, because we were talking about psychopaths. When we all hear psychopaths, we start thinking like murderers and like crazy shit. And in reality, that's not necessarily the case. And I used to say to her, like, it almost made me feel like a psychopath, which in my mind, this is normal because I know what I went through. Anyone walking around feeling like they hate God or their parents or all this other, that shit sounds like a psychopath. But if you listen to what the nigga went through, you realize that, oh, he just had this experience that made him naturally feel that way because it was that bad of an experience. And even on top of that, I still suppressed it because I ain't walking through life like this, right? But there's an episode of Dr. House where they talk about this woman who's a psychopath, and she ain't killing nobody or doing this, that, and the other. The problem is the motherfucker couldn't feel. So what she had to do was she mimicked all the emotions, right? Going back to me watching what everyone else was doing, the people that were older than me, and watching their path and trail and their habits and things, and just mimicking it. You're almost not even your own real person because you're mimicking all these other people and shit. All right, that's some Gemini Pisces shit, but I'm staying away from Zodiac, right? So it's like she wasn't no crazy ass person, right? And come to find out, they studied her brain or whatever, and the part of her brain that allowed her to naturally feel was off. So the only way she knew how to adapt or be in society was to mimic and copy others. We talking about someone who don't have nothing going on with their body that's forcing them to fucking, you see what I'm saying? So for me, and that also pans into how these drugs affect the neurological system, which is what, from another video, the brain, the nerves. I think it said something about the spinal cord, I don't know. But I don't think people are thinking about this at all. We're just getting by and doing do, and that's what it felt like growing up. My parents, we were just getting by, doing do, while I'm sitting here experiencing this bullshit. And then when you get older in life, you're like, oh shit, niggas would just be like, oh, I didn't know. It doesn't change the fact you're still experiencing it. Right? So when I was saying to her, like, I almost feel like a psychopath, it was because, like, the drugs had numbed me up. I couldn't really feel for real, pushing through pain all the time. All these emotions of just being angry and alone and sad. Who wouldn't feel like a fucking, you know what I'm saying? I ain't talking about going out here doing nothing to nobody, but I'm just sitting here saying, like, I almost don't feel like a real person outside of this, right? And it's just a wild thing, right? So yeah, yeah. To me, it just was a lot to it, like a lot. Where did I put my water? So my thing was just, I try to do a lot of different things to make myself happier. I started coloring, I started drawing, I started painting. Sometimes I would do music, but I stayed away from music because every time I did music, I would feel pain coming out every time. Cause music will help you. That's another thing too. Music will help you trans. If you do music, it'll help you transmute. Um, I don't know if transmute is that. Oh, the cat. I call that cat Absol. I love that cat. Neighborhood cat is always over here. Um, transmute. My mind is like that cat showed up the second you started talking about music, nigga. Maybe you need to go back to making no. Right? So I kept finding my pain coming out through music, and I didn't want to put that into the world. I like songs that make you feel good, but I was like I always was struggling to. Wow, it's very obvious. I was always struggling to make these songs because I didn't actually feel good. Yo, oh my god, that's actually funny. Right. So I hope this gets to a point where I can have enough people to at least have conversations, and I would want to play someone like a song. Like, how does that actually make you feel? You know, it just I felt pain coming through it. I didn't want to put that into the world, but I'm just wondering, is my perception on it wrong? That's the whole point of this. Like, for someone to either challenge me or something, just like, is my perspective wrong and da 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 da. But yeah, man, I think it's a lot to that condition that I don't feel is properly displayed to us. It's a lot of just swept under the rug or not acknowledged. And then later on in life, oh, you got something else that we could treat you for? No, nigga, fuck out of here. That's why, like, I used to be hesitant telling doctors things. Bro, I told the doctors once in all these years. My dad used to say this as a kid. Yeah, I don't tell them no shit like that, right? Because let's be honest, most niggas that have this condition on some level, you depressed. We gonna be real, nigga. He was like, don't ever tell them motherfuckers nothing. They'll write that shit down and they'll treat you off that shit forever. And he was right. I told them one time because I was just reaching a place where I'm like, I need help and I don't feel like I'm getting it. And I told them niggas that I was having anxiety. Right? I don't even think I worded it as anxiety. I just was telling them my experience. And them niggas wrote on my thing anxiety. And then like when I went back to like the hospital or whatever, it said anxiety on the thing. I was like, oh, get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, the hospital niggas can't be trusted because all they trying to do is prescribe you shit. I don't want none of your medicine, bro. Get this Western hemisphere shit out of here, bro. This is nonsense, right? Can't even go to the doctor and say I'm experiencing this because they'll want to put you in a loony bin. In reality, everything I'm saying makes sense and it's right there in medical books. You can Google everything I'm saying right now. They'll show you what too much stress does to you, nigga. This shit causes stress on so many levels, it's ridiculous. That's why I can say we super gods. We're like, I don't want to compare to Namor because Namor really not black. But I think, and I'm about to throw this left ass feel. I think the original Indians, all that is just niggas, is black people, and they're just changing the how it looks. But I don't want to go into that because that might trigger people and other things. I kind of don't care, but I kind of do. It's whatever I think, you know, like I think it's the Mayans, right? Because if you Google, I'm gonna Google it right now actually. If you Google the Mayans, they discovered had that condition. There are a lot of Mayans that had that condition. How the fuck that? Then why we don't see these niggas today, right? Why we don't see these niggas today? Some of the ancient Maya may have been SSA. I don't know what that is. I think that's full blown. Because ancient Mayan skeletal remains indicate that they suffered from supercell anemia. Right? Now I'm gonna look up because I'm see this thing already knew where I was about to say. Where were the Mayans located? I actually didn't really remember. Central America. Okay, that. Where were the Aztecs? Where were the Aztecs located? Central and southern Mexico. So, again, a part of me still thinks that this was niggas, right? I still think it was niggas, but that's me on one hand kind of feeling like some intuitive shit, and then on another hand, it just ignorantly not knowing enough about history. So, and I'm the type of person, yeah, nigga, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But if I'm right, give me my praise. So, yeah. I forgot what I was even talking about. I genuinely forgot what I was talking about before this. Yeah, man, it's a lot to it. It is a lot to it. So, it's almost, and I wonder if I'm perceiving this wrong. It's almost like they say, we're just gonna keep saying this quote unquote spirituality. Don't go venting and diving into like the depth of that. But this almost requires you to, because you can't ignore it. Nigga, motherfuckers can ignore their emotional issues and how, oh, this person made me feel, da 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 da. Nigga, how does your body feel right now, right? It's not something you can just ignore. You ignore, you're gonna spend your time pushing through fucking pain, and that's gonna lead you to a point where you really can't ignore no more, and you might be at a point where it's certain things you can or can't do about it. And I think that that's pointless. I would rather sit here and do that and talk about it until a point where ain't shit I could do. Like, no, fuck that. So you see how it's contradictive, right? So my thing now is I'm gonna look at this as you a glitch. God gave you this. God gave you this bullshit ass condition with no answers. Snatched your grandmother away, the only nigga that paid attention to you when you was a little kid, because you want me to be a glitch, nigga. A glitch. A motherfucking glitch. That's the only way I could see it. You clearly want me to be a glitch, able to break the rules. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I ain't brush my teeth. Do niggas brush their teeth before they eat or afterwards? Hey, 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 hey. What was I saying? I think that might have been it. Nigga, I want to meet somebody in real life that has this shit. Just think about that. Think about having a condition you never met nobody in real life that has it. Oh, there go Absol. No, like, nigga, what? That's crazy. It's crazy, bro. So I'm thinking, my thing is, on top of this, why would the creator do this? That's the question to me that needing to be asked. Why would the creator do this, nigga? Maybe to show niggas that we really are all this super strong. That's it. That's it. I don't know about that one, but creator know better than me. You know what I'm saying? Creator knows better than me. Right? I was hot. Let's just say I lost some shoes. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, why would I like lose those shoes? Like, I just bought those. I'm like, those were nice. They were like good for my feet. They were this and the other. Like, why would I lose those shoes? I just kept sitting here because I look at things as messages, right? Like, there had to be a message of some sort. And I just Googled it yesterday. I'm like, what does it mean when God takes things away? Right? I don't like saying God, but I like saying the creator. What does it mean? And I'm just again right now. What does it mean when God takes things away? Right? And I remember it saying that it was hindering your spiritual growth. What does it mean when God takes things away? And wildly enough, that did resonate. Okay, now this is a very different answer. The fuck? A test of faith means wait. Making space for something better. Why does that all still resonate? Right, here it is. it can be seen as God removing things that are no longer serving a purpose or that are holding us back from our higher calling and purpose, right? That's what it felt like. Hey, nigga, what the fuck is these shoes? What these shoes got to do with anything, bro? Right? I ain't buying no expensive Jordans or nothing, bro. So, I don't know. Maybe that'll be revealed to me when the time is right. But I just thought that was ridiculous. But again, I don't know it. There's a bigger picture that clearly I have not been able to see. So just kind of leaving it at that. I've always wanted to do this for so long, just sit here and talk, but it's never resonated. And for some reason, right now, it resonates, and I can't tell you why. I don't know why this. Maybe because I hit my place where I just don't care about nothing no more. I just kind of don't. So I'm just gonna sit here and talk about it. Why the fuck not? How do you? How do you? How do you do that? I forget how that song. What time is it? 9. I'm sitting here playing around. Supposed to be going somewhere. Um. Is that all that I had to say? I think last thing I'll say is, nigga, if you got full blown, meaning most likely your fucking hemoglobin is in single digits, nigga, take whatever fucking drugs you need, bro. Because if I experience what I experienced being at fucking 11, and I did experience 7 once, and that shit, oh my god, nigga, I was ready to be up out of here, but I think that was different for me because I did something that made me lose so much weight that it wasn't just like that. That's part of the reason my shit was so low. But experiencing that, I was ready to be like, nah, bro, this is insane. But even outside of that, just being at tier 2, like that made that was insane, right? Like that was insane enough. You at tier 3, nigga? Nah, hell no. Take whatever fuck you need. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? My thing is find you some herbs, go into some Eastern medicine. You know what I'm saying? To the max. Best way to say it. But yeah, man, I really would love to just meet somebody in real life that has this shit. I do. What the fuck is this? How do you? All right. Is that everything? It's 9:07. So yeah, I think that's it. Huzzah. Yeah, man. Again, I'm shaking the snow globe. I'm like, hey, if God really rock with me like that, there ain't nothing I could do wrong, nigga. You know, obviously ain't going out here and doing nothing intentionally wrong, but I'm like, there's nothing I could do wrong. Wherever I go, wherever I need to be, the creator gonna find a way for me to be there. Whoever I'm supposed to meet. I think my thing is though, I just gotta get in the world. You know, I'm gonna keep it a beam. I think I'd be scared. I be scared, nigga, because I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to be social. Like, I'm that type of person, like, you know when people, like, say, oh, like, you walk into Target, people like, oh, good morning. You know they don't mean it. That motherfucker is just working. They have to say it. I don't like interacting with that. I just don't. Because I'm so sensitive, it's like, I'm just going to walk past, my nigga. I might look at you. I might nod my head, but I'm not going to say nothing. I don't be knowing how to be in the world. I just don't. So I think that's part of me, like wearing the mask and like hiding my face. That's part of it, but I don't being in the world crazy. It's funny, right? This guy I met in high school. He in a high school people are weird. High school kids are weird. Sometimes they cool you. Sometimes they try to pick on you and be weird and shit. And I remember one day. I remember one day. Sometimes he was cool, sometimes he wasn't. And then one day he was just messing with me, and I was like, someone else was messing with me, and I spazzed on them. And this is why I didn't like stand up for myself a lot in high school. And then the second I stood up for myself with this nigga, then the nigga that I'm saying that sometimes was cool, sometimes wasn't, then he started doing the same shit. I'm like, this is why I never like did this. Cause the second I fucking do something, somebody else is gonna start doing this shit. And I was like, yo, this is annoying. You niggas are weird, nigga. Niggas are weird as fuck. Right? And I remember one day I I was looking for a job, and then he was the manager. It was so weird. I'm like, why the fuck are you the manager, nigga? Like on some like he was my age, like he was young. There was no way this nigga should have been the manager. He was the manager, and the nigga gave me the job. He just gave me the job, just easy with it. I forget why I bring that up. Why the fuck did I bring that? Oh yeah, that's why I brought it up, right? Because he would try and this nigga kidnapped me once. That shit was funny as hell. He I was supposed to be going to my girlfriend's house. It was like some Christmas shit, and this nigga pulled up in front of my house because he used to try and get me to go play basketball with them. And I was like, I'm good at basketball, but my body can't handle it. So it was often like, that's what I mean, like creatively doing stuff like this. Why are you gonna make me this beautiful, talented person and then give me some shit that's gonna keep trying to limit on my talent? I don't get it. That's annoying, nigga. What the fuck, right? But um, he he all right, he's trying to get me to go play basketball with them. So on this day, he just randomly showed up in front of my house, right? And he was like, "Oh, yo, like, come get in the car. I gotta talk to you about something. All right, show you." He was saying some shit like that. Nigga, I got in the car, mind you, I'm all dressed. I'm about to leave and go. I get in the car, and this nigga locks the door. He's like, "Yo, like, we about to go play basketball." Like, it's like Christmas Eve or some shit. It's like it's something around Christmas, and I'm like, nigga, I'm supposed to be going to my girl house. Like, I cannot go play basketball. This nigga like, all right, well, you playing today, and he drove off, right? Yo, my girl at the time was so mad because I came mad late, and because of my social anxiety, I couldn't talk to people. I wasn't good with accents. Nigga, I said this. I basically failed Spanish in high school. One, because I didn't care about school because nobody was helping me with my physical well being, so I just stopped caring about it. But like I didn't do well in Spanish because I was never good with accents. I didn't grow up around it, so every time people talked to me, I couldn't even make out the word they were saying. So it wasn't like I hear the word and I just need to know what it means. No, it sounded like so I what the fuck am I gonna do with that? You know? So everybody there was on some like, I'm like, I don't know what nobody's saying. It's like 20 niggas in here, nigga. How many family members do you have? It's 20 niggas in here. And you know what I'm saying? I'm overwhelmed, but no one's knowing this because they're just looking at me like a regular person. Because no one's ever explained to me, yeah, your nervous system is very, very sensitive, and it makes you very sensitive to people in your environment. So what happens is, which is probably why Spanish used to sound like wrong, 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 your capacity to process everything through your senses, feeling, seeing, hearing, taste, smell, start to whatchamacallit, like they're pulled on. They're pulled on. It's not to its full capacity, ability to function or whatever. She was mad as hell. This nigga kidnapped me. That shit that shit was wild. So he kidnapped me and brought me to the gym, and it was like the only reason we didn't go play basketball because I'm like, it's Christmas Eve, nigga. Like the gym's not open. The fuck? And then he brought me back home after driving around. But oh, I'm skipping away from the whole thing. We wanted to play basketball once, and I finally told him. I was like, yeah, I got like Supercell. He was like, damn, why you ain't never tell me? That was the first time I ever heard somebody say that. Like, why you ain't never tell me? And it made me think about that time, like, this nigga was, like, bothering me. I'm like, yo, he probably would have stopped bothering me. Meaning I should have walked around school wearing this shit as a badge of honor, nigga. Right? Like, that's what I mean for the younger niggas. If you got this shit and this nigga's bothering you or anything, which today's generation is different. I could be a jaguar or say I'm a tree and nobody care. But when I was growing up, it wasn't like that. So wherever you at, if it's still like how it was for me, nigga, go to the principal's office, the nurse office, tell them everything you need, badges for extra time to class, snacks, hoodie, whatever. Anybody pick on you, nigga, let them know they messing with a medical child and that, hey, them niggas might be expelled for real. Like, you really gotta be on it type shit. Nigga, use that shit as a badge, but use it right. Don't be weird. Just use it right. Um, yeah, that was the moral of that. It was like, then he was like, damn, why you ain't never tell me? Now, I could be looking too much into it, but whatever. I don't care. This video mad long. You go brush my teeth and get dressed. I think that might be it. I think my thing is I always wanted to put love into the world, and I just been questioning myself so much as a person that I almost don't know where I'm at anymore sometimes. And I'm just at the point I'm gonna put this here just because I know it has a good intention. I don't know if I'm executing or not, but I'm doing it, right? So fuck it. And yeah. So um yeah, I don't know. Hopefully I get to a point where I can play like my music for somebody. Or I can talk to somebody. You ever seen those videos where you get that one subscriber you can talk to? That shit fire. I want to play like people like my music so they can understand what I mean by like this shit sound. It just sound like it almost sound like sad, but it reminds me of like crying. But it feel like crying in the sense of like think about what you had to go through to be crying, right? Like something had to push you to be able to cry. But when you cry, you feel better. So, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I be begging to cry because as men, we get programmed to not cry. And I'll make another video, but the effect that this has psychologically on you as a man is crazy. You don't even be feeling like a man because what is a man though? That somebody strong, physically well put, could stand on 10 toes, and do physical things and provide for people and care for them and do all this other shit. Nigga, I don't be feeling like I do that. You know how I could do that? Get on the internet, act the ass, get all this money. Now I'm taking care of everybody. So there's that. But then is my soul gonna rock with that? I don't know. Maybe it will because it knows deep down I'm just trying to get the bread to provide. I don't know. But yeah. Yeah, I be getting carried away. I have never been able to really talk with this aside from like one person. Literally, I've only ever been able to talk with some of this stuff with like one person because they was a medical student, so they understood what I was saying. Like they knew what I was talking about. But they also said to me like, "There's really no like answer or true medication for you." And my rebuttal is, no, in Western medical system there isn't. Western medical system there isn't. Eastern, you go look at the Eastern hemisphere and how they do medical shit. And these niggas be having cures for fucking everything. And I don't want to say cures. They're more so like they know that nature provides all the answers. It kind of is on some Dr. Sebi shit, but it's different. But nature provides a lot of the answers, and a lot of those answers have been hidden from us, kind of thing. It sounds like this is the last thing I'm gonna leave because I won't stop if I don't leave. It's like how like this guy was saying how like milk causes cancer, right? Like milk is so acidic, it's insane, and that's what Sebi was saying. Like cancer, these different, diseases and all this other shit is literally caused by your body being so acidic that the disease is manifesting as that specific thing, right? Then he was like, yo, these niggas put breast care awareness and cancer awareness on milk bottles. That's fucking evil. That's crazy, nigga. Right? But whatever. Yeah, it's this type of shit. So I don't want to dive into that. I'm gonna just leave that as it is. But um yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna leave on a positive note. That tree over there is beautiful. I seen Absol today twice. Um, Shouts out to him. Or her. I don't know what the animal is actually. How do you? I think that's it. On a bitch.